in Beanstown. CT, Daniel F. and Jolizzi boy. We up right now, locking up your Saturday. Tell your book you send my payment. Lot of opinions, but we only care about one statement. It's Boston Eddie Cappers, yeah. It's Boston Eddie Cappers, yeah. It's Boston Eddie Cappers, yeah. It's Boston Eddie Cappers, yeah.
All right. We are live for a Monday opener edition of the Boston Handicappers Network. If you're watching, listening, notice something a little bit different. I'm not Dan Lifshatz. I'm Julian Edlow, a guest from DK Network, thrust into the host role. Miraculous heavy lift for me tonight on the podcast, but I just love Dan so much I couldn't turn down this opportunity. Here with my partner in crime, Mr. CT Betts, Chris Thurston. CT, how we doing?
Jules, thanks for taking the reins. Bopper a little under the weather today. Show must go on, and we got the right guy to host this show tonight here.
The show must go on. Thoughts and prayers to the big Bopper. We wish him to get well soon. All right. We're going to rip through some stuff here, CT, and as always, it's going to be a little bit different run of show. But off the top, we are going to do kind of our reaction, our recap, our thoughts from last week. And as usual, that's brought to you by VIVA Tequila Seltzer. So this Monday's opener episode of the Boston Handicappers Network is brought to you by VIVA Tequila Seltzer. With only 88 calories and 4.5% ABV, VIVA Tequila Seltzer is the most refreshing seltzer out there. Clean, light, and dangerously drinkable. Made with real tequila and bold flavors like huckleberry and grapefruit. Viva pairs perfectly with a winning ticket and some football. Our next live show is November 15th. That is this Saturday at Drifter's Kitchen and Bar in Quincy. It's going to be at 11 a.m., so we're going to be coming at you before all the college football games start. Come see us there. Have some Vivas. Join us while we break down the weekend games and hopefully cash some tickets. Viva, live long, live well, live it up. Viva. We had a fantastic record on the podcast last week. I don't know if Bopper's got the record that he's going to throw up or something. Otherwise, I'll let him take care of that in the next show. I don't know if you know it, CT, but yeah, we finally had that one weekend of football in both college and NFL that all strung together. Thank God it's effing November, but we got it. I'll let you go first, CT, just with your thoughts of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to find this real quick because I know Bopper.
I think we were like 13-1 or something.
We lost one game, I believe, which makes sense because I was 6-0 on Saturday, and then I lost one game yesterday. So I know I had a fantastic weekend. I know Bop had a good weekend, and I know you had a good weekend. So we'll let him take care of the record. But I know we are close as a network. Almost back to even, Jules, and that's pretty impressive because we started out pretty shitty, and we are very transparent about that. That was not a secret. We just started off awful, and September was brutal, and the beginning of
there's the weekend right there. You see at the bottom. Overall, it finished 12-2 for nearly 13 units of profit. We needed that one. We're back on track, and now we can look at it as kind of a clean slate. We have 2 months of football ahead of us. These are the 2 months where I know since the three of us have been working together, we have thrived down the home stretch. We have the most information, the most data to look at and finish the football season. So let's plan on doing that.
Yeah, it was excellent. So, hey, I tweeted this morning. No time to celebrate. We're on to a new week here. Jules, I'll start with my takeaways, and I got 2. I have one in college, and I got one in the NFL, and then I'll let you go, okay? We talk about the Big Ten a lot here, and we talk about who we think is going to win the national championship. I said last week, I think it's Ohio State here and everybody else here. Jules, that hasn't changed for me. Don't care. Rick Neuheisel once told me, I met him in person a couple of times, and he said, Chris, you could only control what you can control, okay? And what that means, Jules, is, okay, oh yeah, Ohio State hasn't played anybody, and they're just going through the motions. Well, you can only control what you control, and they're beating everybody they've beaten, or they had to play. So, Jules, They played already the number 2 team, number 1 team and the number 2 team preseason rankings. They were on the schedule this year. They beat them both. Okay. So until proven otherwise, it's Ohio State here, everybody else here. And I think we saw that with the Hoosiers on Saturday. They needed the best catch in college football history to beat Penn State. People were laughing at me when I gave out Penn State plus 14.5, Jules. I got DMs. What are you, brain dead, CT? Well, yeah, sometimes I'm brain dead, but
I felt it was bold too. I didn't bet that game, but
hey, I mean, yeah, did Penn State whack me a few times this year? For sure. But, power ratings wise and numbers wise, 14.5 was an absolute joke in that game. That's my takeaway there. That's a lot of people's number 1 power rated team, Jules, IU, those Hoosiers. Okay.
Yep.
Next takeaway here is the game in the morning. You don't see that very often yesterday in the NFL, Jules. The books lost pretty much on both sides. The game lands 6. Earlier in the week, Falcons minus 5.5. Then it went to Colts plus 6.5. It went to Falcons plus 6.5. Yep. Falcons was a play for me that I gave out on this show. Lands 6. Everybody wins but the books. Thought that was pretty interesting. So those are my opening takeaways for the show here.
All right, I'll go in a second. As you would imagine, a lot of comments stand on load management from Howard. And then 3 in a row. Cook, this podcast is going to fly by tonight. Brandon, show is going to be done in 20 minutes with Jules on the controls. No lift shots equals a show that will stay on time. Yes, I'm here to steer the ship, guys. We will be in and out. We might even have time to get to some of your guys' comments because CT and I are going to rip through games, and this is going to be over before you know it. Thank you for rifling through those and getting those up on screen there. Mine are very directly related to you, CT, in terms of my Viva thoughts. Number 1, but in a way, it's almost opposite you in the Penn State game. Yeah, I think Ohio State's head and shoulders is the team. There is a sports book out there that I'm not going to name that has the Big Ten championship game on the board. Before that game, before Indiana played Penn State, it was Buckeyes laying 3.5. If you go look at it now, it's Buckeyes laying 5.5.
Wow, yeah.
So that game influenced the market in terms of what they think of Indiana because Ohio State didn't do anything other than
sleepwalk through Purdue.
They do to a team that doesn't matter.
Correct.
But Indiana is almost like spot proof in ways. This is the closest they've come to getting got. They didn't cover, but they still won. They find ways to win games out of nowhere. I don't think they're going to do it against Ohio State in Indy. I know you and I are of that opinion, and we're probably going to be against Dan in that game. But if they're playing somebody that's not the elite of the elite, they find a way, which is very impressive. And I'll tie that right into my NFL thought. You know who the most spot-proof team in the NFL is, CT?
The New England Patriots.
The New England Patriots.
That was an easy one.
Have bad spots.
Yeah.
They don't have them. Yeah. They keep going. I'm not afraid of the Jets on Thursday night. They just lost Garrett Wilson too. And the Jets just played their game at home, the rally game after they trade all the superstars. Right. Now you got a next man up mentality. You're fortunate you're at home. You get the Browns who suck on the road and you win that game. You needed a couple of first quarter kick returns to do it, but you did it. Now you're telling, I know the Patriots are coming home from Florida on a short week, but it's a bad spot for the Jets here too. They're just going to keep cruising. And I know it sounds maybe now like Burrow might be back for a Cincy game. You're going to get the Ravens when they're rallying and need to win games. But
forgot about that one. That's Thanksgiving week, right?
Yeah. But 13 wins is right on the table for this team. And the bye is on the table for this team with the schedule they have in front of them. And it ties into my takes kind of tie into yours in a lot of ways. It ties into the Ohio State take. Can't control who the Patriots have played.
Sure.
It hasn't been a tough schedule, but every spot that's supposed to be the flat spot isn't. They find a way to win the game. And if they can continue to do that, it could be an exciting postseason. I'm not telling you that I would want to see a Kansas City come into Foxborough as that lower seed. I would favor the Chiefs, but this team has potential, and there's not many teams that I'm afraid of if I'm looking at it from a Patriots point of view.
Jules, I think you bring up a great point because you're spot on with. All right, yeah, Jules, you could sit there and say that the Patriots' schedule was easy, but Jules, I don't think in the NFL any game's easy,
Right.
and we see that week after week, right? The Bills just got smashed by the Dolphins, and the week before
the Panthers just lost. The Panthers
Correct.
just lost as a favorite for the 11th time in a row.
Correct. So I think it's warranted that you could say that in college. In NFL, I hate to sound so cliche, but it's any given Sunday, and those are those are pros, man, and it's a tough Sunday for any team every single week. So, I will get us started here for this week for the NFL. And this Monday opener episode of the Boston Handicappers Network is brought to you by Bet105.ag. With the most competitive odds in the business, go check out Bet105.ag. Be on the lookout for the Boston Handicappers' best bet on the site, where Bet105 will be boosting odds on our favorite play each and every week. Last week, we boosted the Dolphins for an easy winner. We gave out plus 9.5. I think it closed 7.5, Jules. Go check out the player props section as well, where Bet105 is giving out minus 110 odds on both sides of player props during primetime NFL games as well. An absolute must for prop bettors. Bet105.ag, where the pros play. And I would like to point out, because I just gave out the Monday night game before we came on this show, they have a great line on tonight's game. I bet the Packers +1, minus 108 over there. That's my play for tonight, and I gave it out. So here we go.
All right. So we're going to start Monday Night Football really on the show, which isn't something we do often, but both you and I have an opinion on it, and it's a really good game. Eagles off a bye. Eagles are off a bye, right?
Eagles are off a bye, and the Packers are coming off the Carolina loss.
Eagles off a bye. Packers coming off just an absolute brutal loss. So at Lambeau, I believe the Packers are on a 10-3 run in primetime. It's a gotta-have-it bounce-back spot for the Packers, who are coming in very short-handed. And this would qualify as a good spot to me in NFL. I know the Eagles are off the bye. That's the only tick down, I guess, that I can give to them. The injury report, A.J. Brown was questionable. Saquon was questionable. They're all playing. It's Juergens that's out, the center. Jair Alexander is not ready for them yet. He's out. But the Eagles are much healthier than the Packers.
Yes.
That said, I as well like the Packers. You already mentioned that you gave out the Packers. The Packers are a play from you. The Packers are a play from me. I think that Green Bay should be able to move the ball through the air. Golden is out. Losing Kraft stinks. He really helped that offense, and the numbers would suggest that. But Luke Musgrave has been the tight end there. He's capable. Josh Jacobs has been catching more passes than usual out of the backfield if you want to incorporate him as a receiver. Golden is out. Wicks is in. And then you've got Watson looking to ramp it up from the ACL. He has 6 catches on 8 targets in the 2 games, but he's been catching some deep balls. And Romeo Doubs has been doing pretty well of late. So I think that Green Bay is going to move the ball through the air. And I think that the Packers defense can squeeze out a pretty good performance here. So I am trusting Green Bay in one of those uncomfortable spots. And I don't know why Green Bay has those games that they have against Cleveland, against Carolina, but they generally come back and correct them, particularly on a long week on Monday Night Football at home.
Yep. And Jules, when I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier, he asked me who I liked, and I said Packers, and he goes, without any wideouts? And I'm like, well, a lot of them are questionable. Well, the full injury list, the inactives, just came out about 15 minutes ago. Jules, the only wideout that's not playing is Golden. Wicks, Savion Williams, Tom Dobbs, all active here. It's kind of why they didn't activate anybody from the practice squad because, this is the NFL. They say questionable, Jules, but we kind of figured that means that they were going. This is kind of perfect temperature for the Packers tonight. Coming off the bad loss, you get to come back home, prime time here. Freezing temperatures, a little bit of wind. This is games where Green Bay thrives in. And I agree with you. I'm just still not sold on that Eagles secondary. I think Love's going to be able to move the ball. It does stink that Kraft's out, but they'll have a really good game plan here. And these are the games that I like, Jules, right? Okay. Yeah. The sky's falling. You just lost a terrible game as huge favorites to Carolina. You're banged up. You have no shot now, right? Wrong. Guys just step up and they plug in and they make plays here. This is the NFL. Packers is a play.
Yeah, we got a comment. If I recall, the Eagles knocked the Pack out in the wild card. True. And knocked them out in that Brazil game week 1. Knocked them out and injured Love in that game, in a game that the Packers were right in and maybe should have won. So call it a double revenge spot for the Pack at home at Lambeau. So we are aligned there on the Pack on Monday Night Football. It is, I'll just quickly talk. It's a good game for props, I feel like, on the Packers receiving side. It comes down to, I think all of them are undervalued, to be honest. It's just who you think is the most undervalued. Like Wicks, very modest props. Watson is only 2.5 receptions. He's been targeted 4 times in both games. He caught all 4 in one, 2 in the other, but you give him maybe a little tick without Kraft. And he catches deep ones. If you want to go long reception on Christian Watson, that's worth a look. I played the highest guy on the board. I played Romeo Doubs over 52.5 receiving yards, and I think over 4.5 receptions is also a decent look. He's gotten there, I think, on both of those in 4 of the last 5 games, and now there should be a little more volume, and I think you're going to have more success attacking the Eagles through the air than running the ball. So quick prop shop minute right there. I think Green Bay receiving is the way to look at this one. All right, we're going to rip through 5 NFL games in this segment before we go over to the college football games of the week. We will go relatively quickly. I'll start Commanders and Dolphins. Dolphins obviously come out and stomp the Bills. I know I mentioned on this podcast last week, Achane rushing yards at like 63.5. It went off 67.5.
Wow.
He went for almost $1.50. Yeah. That should have been like a Dolphins money line, Achane 100 plus, Achane TD, same game parlay. That he went insane. But look at the Dolphins scores. Like, they lose to the Browns and beat the Falcons, lose to whoever they lost to in between that wasn't a very good team, beat the Bills. They're all over the place. I'm just looking here. The number on this game is 2.5, right? Yep. Dolphins 2.5-point home favorites. Commanders get stumped.
Spain, Espanol.
Huh?
This is the game in Spain.
Oh, shoot. Okay, never mind. Not 2.5-point favorites. 2.5-point neutral favorites.
Yeah.
So they're saying the Dolphins would be even bigger favorites at home.
Yeah.
I know NFL home field is roughly 1.5. So they're saying Miami would be -4 at home against the Commanders.
Might be a little overreaction.
Yeah. So Commanders, I was set on the Lions last week. I played them double result. I played them as a teaser leg. I didn't lay the full number. Detroit improves off their last 13 losses to 13-0 straight up and 13-0 against the spread. Now Washington's off a couple of beatdowns, and Miami is all over the map. Super inconsistent. This would be Washington or pass for me.
I'm right there with you. I like playing the dog in these games overseas here. Think it's a little bit of an overreaction. Did you see the Dolphins locker room after they won, acting like they won the Super Bowl? And, you know, Mike McDaniels is going absolutely insane. They're in these little carts, the players, they're rolling around all through the locker room. The coaches are dancing like they're doing the worm. Jules, even though
McDaniels is pulling up to Bills bars. Did you say that part?
No, was he?
There's a Bills bar in Miami, and McDaniels drove by after the game and like trolled Bills fans standing outside the bar. That's too much.
That's way too much.
You almost got fired. You're lucky to have your job.
Yeah, that single-handedly might just put me on
that one. Yeah, that one right there was like,
oh my god.
Okay, buddy.
Even though the Commanders have some big-time injury problems, power ratings-wise and numbers-wise, this game should be closer to a pick. I actually probably make Commanders a slight favorite in this one. Don't care who's under center for the Commanders, whether it's Daniels or Mariota. I lean Commanders here. No play yet.
Yeah, I don't think Daniels will be back quite yet. But either way, I don't think this is a game that will make my card. I'm not sure yet, but I had to bring it up because there's just it's a good Commanders spot. Bears Vikings. Bears come back and essentially get Brian Daboll fired.
Yeah.
Giants have lost every game that they have had a double-digit lead in this season. That's insane. Vikings come back to life after the big Detroit win, lose to Baltimore, who is in desperate need of wins. I know the Vikings got the Bears the first time. That's the only thing that makes me not like this spot, but I lean to Minnesota at home here. There's a handful of the Bears wins that I just don't think much of. Yeah. And I think Minnesota can kind of get it going here. They got a great win. They played a really good team a desperate good team in Baltimore to a possession. This is a spot I think they get it done at home.
Yeah, there was times yesterday's game where Minnie looked really good and then times where they looked really bad. I agree with you. We've seen it from McCarthy. We saw it the week before when they beat the Lions here. It's wild, man. We're sitting here talking about the 6-3 Chicago Bears.
Yeah, they're not this good.
They're not this good. Like, this is Dan's boy. The only side I could have right now so far in this game would be Minnie.
All right, we're aligned there. Falcons and Panthers is really interesting.
Very.
The Panthers beat the brakes off of the Falcons 30-0 the first time they played, even though the Falcons had a significant advantage in yards per play, yardage, everything. Falcons on paper, dominated isn't the right word, but played a lot better.
Big time.
And lost 30-0. Now, I don't want to trust the Falcons they're coming home from overseas, which stinks. Now you're at home laying a short number against Carolina. Carolina just lost as the 11th time in a row as a favorite, which is also insane.
Burnt a lot
this game, I just had to put this game on the list because this game is a mess.
It's a mess.
I could only look at the Falcons because I think they're a significantly better team and they're off back-to-back narrow, heartbreaking losses. I just hate that you have to go to Foxborough to, where was it, Germany? That game?
Yeah.
From Foxborough to Germany, back home. You got to get your body clock right all week, get everything together, and then come host this Carolina team that has been all over the place. But the Falcons desperately need a win, and they're playing a team they lost 30-0 to. I really want to bet the Falcons. I don't know if I can, given the travel.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is a huge game for Bopper and I. We both are on the Falcons over 7.5 wins.
Yeah,
really got to have this one probably to have a chance to cash because you lose to the Panthers twice in division. I mean, you probably don't deserve it.
Yeah, that's it.
But you're right. A lot of traveling, and this game's a mess. I think you said it perfectly. Carolina took a lot of people out of Survivor that were left yesterday versus the Saints. Saints was a sharp side yesterday. I'm actually shocked it didn't make my card. Usually in Mon games like that. Yeah, I'm with you. I guess the only way I could look right now is Atlanta, but I could also just see myself as this game being a total pass. Just hope Atlanta just gets it done.
Yeah, probably unlikely that I ultimately bet that game as well. All right, two games that I'm very interested in. We're going to start Seahawks, Rams. These two teams are good, and This is a huge game for the division. Seattle is maybe better on the road than at home. Stafford, first quarterback in NFL history to have 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions in 3 consecutive games. He is right there flirting with the MVP with the likes of Drake May and Jonathan Taylor, just like everybody had it before the season. I don't know if I have an opinion yet on this game. I have some Rams to win the division. I know you and Dan were bigger on the 49ers. I also have the 49ers to make the playoffs, which was, minus 170 or so before the season, but I laid the juice on that. But also have some Rams as high as plus 230 to win the division. So I am by default a Rams fan, but I'm a little scared. Seattle might be for real. There's some people that have Seattle as a great Super Bowl bet, great NFC bet. I don't have as much of an opinion on this game yet. I'll try and get into it more as the week goes on, but I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this is Monday night. We're doing the opener, right? And I think Rams were look ahead -2.5 Jules, and it's still -2.5. So nothing really changed. Both teams are coming off rivalry games in division. Tough games, right? Seattle blew out the Cards. Supposed to usually be a tough game in division. And the Rams looked really good, man. And I don't care if it's versus a banged up Niners team. Like, they look the part right now. Stafford looks dialed. McVay looks dialed. And the defense looks dialed. Like, it's just, I know Mac had his way at times throughout that game. And I know there was a lot of love for this Rams team at the beginning of the year. And I wasn't a believer in it, but I am now. That they're dangerous, and I agree with you. Seattle's dangerous as well. This is a hell of a 4:00 game here.
Yeah.
Right now, numbers wise, I probably make the game around where it is, -2, -2.5. Would like to see what happens here in the. It looks like Seattle's taking some early money, which
I know this was 3. I know this was 3 at one point on DraftKings. I do know that, and it ticked down to 2.5.
3 -105. Yeah, curious to see what happens here. But as of right now, Jules, I agree with the line. I think it's right.
Yep. Good game. We'll see what happens. Another one in the 4:00 window. The Chiefs are laying 3.5 at Denver. The last we saw of Denver, that Thursday night football game was disgusting. And I know we're supposed to go week to week. Is Denver going to bounce back off a win? They won that game, even though it didn't feel like they did. They were that bad. This offense sucks. Bo Nix, I've not been a fan of. The defense is for real. And Kansas City has had some struggles in Denver. Was it last year where they got lucky on the missed field goal and won the game in Denver?
I believe it was.
I think so. So the Denver defense can definitely step up and get the best of Mahomes here. But Kansas City, Andy Reid off a bye. We know that's whatever that number is, like 80%.
It's unbelievable.
Reid off a bye. Chiefs off a loss prior to the bye to the Bills. This is a spot where Kansas City gets going. This is a spot where Kansas City gets going and starts to chase down this division. And Denver's defense is good, but I know they get a long week too off Thursday for Denver to try and put it together on offense a little bit. Don't care. Don't see it happening. Think the Chiefs have a pretty good defense. Out of all the games that we've talked about, I'm the closest to betting this one, Chiefs -3.5.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. And I'm not trying to contradict myself. We talk about how every game is tough in the NFL every single week. And you can't really depend on last week to make your decisions for this week. But I agree. Like after off the bye, I mean, these are the
one thing about what you just said too that I'll say about Denver is it's almost not only just off last week. Denver's offense has been getting slowly worse every single week.
It has, except outside of the fourth quarters, and we did not.
Yeah, outside of a fourth quarter against the Giants,
we did not see that, and the Texans too. They had a good fourth quarter versus the Texans.
Oh god, yeah. Well, but they didn't score much in that game. They did.
He made some plays. Late, made some plays, and the defense, got some stops. But you're right. This is the best in the business. 15 and Coach Fatso off the bye. This is where they thrive, especially off the loss. In division game here. You would think with the weapons being healthy right now that they're able to take care of business there, even being in Denver. Got to think that Spags has a pretty good game plan and makes it even harder for Nix to move the ball.
All right, there's your NFL for the Monday night opener. We're going to move it over to the college football games of the week, and the college football games of the week on this Monday opener episode of the Boston Handicappers Network is brought to you by Juice Reel. The world's first transparent betting marketplace is finally here. No more scammers. If you believe you're a winner, simply sync your sportsbook to the app, and all your plays will be shown for everyone to use. If you want to find the best bettors on the app instead, everyone's bets are ranked and records are legitimate. You can access the top Juice Reel members' plays through the app if you want to tail someone, or you can get paid if someone tails your bets. You can also find exclusive bets from the Boston Handicappers on the Juice Reel app each week that won't be given out on the podcast. Don't worry, the plays are still free. Just go download the Juice Reel app and add the Boston Handicappers as friends via the link in our Twitter profile. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM us. Juice Reel, where transparency is king. All right, this is easy, CT. We're ripping through games. We're only 30 minutes in. NFL in the books. We'll talk a few college football. We'll get out of here. We're not going to talk about East Bumblebee State because Dan's not here. So, Clemson and Louisville. Wow, a real football game. This one has gone from Clemson catching 3.5 to 3 on the road.
Yeah.
Full transparency from me. I meant to say this in my opening thoughts. I'll give one more opening thought here. Last week, I watched about 15 minutes of football. I had to go to New York, go to a bar mitzvah on Saturday. Mazel tov. It was a blast. Sunday, my brother-in-law's baby shower in Connecticut. I was touring the East Coast, going to family events, being a good family member. Barely watched any football. Maybe that is the key to next week.
Yeah.
If anybody knows of any local bar mitzvahs, I don't feel like traveling again. I'm on the South Shore. Anything in the Boston area, you know of any bar mitzvahs, I'm happy to attend. Because just rattling off plays, no problem. I just got to go to bar mitzvahs, look at my phone every couple of hours, no big deal. So part of that is I did not get to see Louisville getting upset by Cal.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't get to see a bet of mine, Clemson money line, who seemed to never be in doubt against Florida State. I was tracking that one a little bit. I was not tracking at all Louisville and Cal. So my first question to you was, any interest in Louisville laying 3 here at home in a bounce back spot on the short week and Clemson has to go on the road? You said the opposite.
Yeah, this was early this morning. I texted you and Bop. I said, well, actually, I think Clemson was a play for all 3 of us last week. That was a triple play.
It was. You and Dan gave it on the pod. I said I would probably bet it, and then I came around on it, and it was in my article, but it was not a podcast play for me.
Got it. All right, so we were a double banger there with me and the Bop. But you're right. I had that game on one of the screens. Clemson was really never in doubt there. Kind of what I talked about, what I thought we would see, kind of like that anger out of Dabo after they got screwed on that call versus Duke. Jules, you know Dabo, like, I get it. Like, I like to shit on him at times too, but he's a competitor, right? He's not going to just take his ball and go home. You knew he was going to come up with a good game plan, and he could get those kids up to play and stay focused here, even though it's not the Clemson football team that everybody thought it was going to be, and they're not having this anywhere near the season that they had hoped or we had thought. So that was a nice one there. I kind of like them to keep the momentum going.
So that's the part. This is the part I need. Explain to me why they're going to keep the momentum going.
They don't quit. And he has them just bought into that whole system where, you know, you're getting killed and you're losing games that you shouldn't, but somehow he's able to keep them dialed in, and he's really good at that. And Klubnik looks really, really good, Jules. Like really good. He made some great throws on Saturday.
Yeah, a couple weeks in a row. The Duke game, he offensively, they were all there.
All of a sudden, the offense looks great for Clemson, and they couldn't move the ball for shit at the beginning of the year. And I kind of agree with Bopper. I know Bopper shat on Louisville all year long, and we finally saw the real Louisville last week in Cal, and I get it, tough travel spot. But I
guess the Miami win is also looking a little less
correct,
impressive
right?
now.
Like, you're fighting for your life because the ACC blows to get into the tournament, the college football playoff, and you go out to Cal, a team that's just really kind of going through the motions lately and should have lost to UNC a couple weeks ago, and you lose an OT. It's just, I mean, that you're not a playoff team if you do that. I'm sorry. You're just not. No. And Jules, if you look at this game, before the year starting, power rating wise, numbers wise, and player and name.
Oh yeah. Preseason, this was probably Clemson minus 7 or 8.
It reminds me of, and this is a way, the spread is way different here, but it reminds me a little bit of the Penn State Indiana game last week here, because everybody thinks that, Penn State was just going to mail it in. Everybody thinks that Clemson's just going to mail it in. I don't feel that way. There's a Friday night game, and I get it. Probably people thinking a bounce back spot for Ville, and I guess they're not totally out of the playoff yet here, but I think Clemson keeps this competitive and has a real shot to win this game.
So Clemson is 4-5. It would be pretty embarrassing if they didn't make a bowl game, right?
Right.
So, like, I guess that's kind of still incentive to finish this thing up is one way to look at it. I gotta dig more into that one, but sharp move through a key number.
I bet some small this morning, very, very small. I bet some 3.5. Just I had a feeling it would move, so it's not an official play here.
Arkansas and Louisville. This one.
No, Arkansas is not playing Louisville.
Oh, we just talked Louisville. Arkansas and LSU. Sorry, thank you. My mind is all over the place because I'm trying to pull up the number on this game. But this is moving Arkansas's way.
Yeah, it's taking some
which this is interesting because LSU had the bounce back spot at Bama after firing Brian Kelly, where you would think that we all said we thought they were going to rally. Obviously, it finishes at an extremely unique number 11 when it was 10.5 all week. Bama gets the win and cover in a grinder in Tuscaloosa, though. This has been moving towards Arkansas, who hasn't shown me that much. I'm just looking right now at the DraftKings splits. So they're not as bad as they were earlier. 40% of the bets for 57% of the money on Arkansas, which is down to 5.5. I would think maybe because LSU didn't get their win last week that they would maybe come out a little bit sharper at home in an SEC game, but this is going the other way.
Yeah, this is a really tough game, and I'm really, really happy that Bopper actually talked me off of LSU because I was actually really close to playing them last weekend versus Bama, just because Bama was just like, it's just, the schedule has been daunting. The last 6 games in a row.
They keep getting there.
Keep figuring it out, and they look to be the team that I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year when I was touting them and giving them out every which way. This is a tough one, Jules. It's a 12:45 game. Yeah. LSU is just like decimated right now. But I mean, you got to think that they're going to finally put one together. I don't really understand the Arkansas money.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they really haven't shown me much either. Like, yeah, their offense, they could score. But I mean, if this keeps getting bet down, I think I'm going to have no choice to be on LSU here.
Yeah, I think this could be the spot for LSU that we thought last week was. Unfortunately for LSU, you ran into Bama on Saturday night on the road.
Right.
Like, it doesn't mean they only scored 9 points. They only gave up 20 to Bama. Like that, it doesn't mean LSU is done. I think they can still rally around this coaching change against a much more serviceable opponent or a much more beatable opponent.
For sure. Bottom of the barrel SEC team.
I think this could be an LSU spot, and I was quite confused to see this going the other way. So stay tuned later in the week. I agree with CT. If this keeps going the other way, this is going to be LSU for me, and this is going to be the spot that everybody was ranting and raving about last week. It just comes a week later at home against a much worse team. Speaking of Alabama, they host Oklahoma on Saturday afternoon. This one has been 7, ticked down to 6.5. I know somebody significant put out Oklahoma +7, moved it a little bit. I don't know, man. I got my Oklahoma over 6.5 in pocket, so I can stop being a Sooners fan. Yeah, I've won everything I need. I've gotten everything I need to get out of them. The defense has been kind of getting worse, in my opinion, and Mateer has been getting worse. And now here we are again. We're going to talk about Alabama. Can they keep these spots rolling? Well, they keep doing it. So I don't. If this is going to keep going down, maybe this is like an Alabama double result spot for me. Maybe lay the 6.5. Maybe they're one. I know the audience hates when I put together a 2-leg money line parlay. Maybe Alabama's one leg of your money line parlay for Saturday. But this is Alabama or pass for me.
I probably agree with you. I made the game a little higher. I made it 10. It's just, it seems like everybody thinks that the next week is the one where you're going to see Alabama lay an egg again, like we saw week 1. And maybe DeBoer really did get this team figured out and has these kids bought in, because man, they're playing some tough fucking football right now, Jules. I couldn't take it right now. It would only be laying it for me.
Yep. All right. This one I'm very curious on. Iowa should have. I had some bonus bets.
I have a lot of thoughts on that game.
Yeah, I had some bonus bets that were tied into Iowa winning that game as the last leg of a lot of them, like 10-1 stuff. We got our number. We covered our 6.5, even some 7 minus 120. We got the cover, but they should have won that game, and that would have been nice for a lot of us if they won that game. So now they go on the road. Well, hold on. Let's talk about this game next. Do you want to talk about Iowa at all last week before we talk about this week?
Yeah, I just want to bring up 2 scenarios that happened in that game that no one's talking about. Okay, and one is a 2-point conversion, Jules. And I have the clip. I'll send it to you. But no one has said a word about this, and it didn't really make much of a difference on the play. But on the 2-point conversion,
you still got to call this.
Correct. If we're playing by the rules, it needs to be called. The defensive back throws his towel at the ball as Gronowski has it in the air as it's being caught. That, Jules, is an automatic penalty, and it would have been a redo and it would have been on the 1-yard line. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Gronowski probably runs the ball in right there, and they go up 3. Who knows what happens then? Probably changes things and changes the way that Oregon runs.
It's just an opportunity for a different outcome.
Other one was, and you can't really argue this one. I was talking to my good buddy about it this morning, is when we fumbled that ball, Jules, the whistles were blown. And the rule is, if the whistle is blown, that if that ball's fumbled, the offensive team should have got the ball back. But it was so hard to argue that because it was such a clear fumble that it was just so tough. And it's not like the NFL where they could just upstairs. But Kirk was trying to get the officials' attention to go over that and take a look at that because it was clearly blown dead. That being said, like the special teams mistakes by Iowa in the first half, you don't see that very often. Like they didn't play their best first quarter, but it was perfect Iowa football, and everything fell the right way for them. It's just unfortunate because that Oregon team, Jules, is just not as good as everybody has them rated. There's just not. Like I get it, all the pieces fell right for Iowa. The weather, at Connect, like a sold out place. It's just unfortunate they couldn't get it done because they had a great game plan.
Yep. So now, unfortunately, after that loss that very easily could have been a win, they got to go out to USC. USC, much better at home. They've had a little bit of extra time because they played on Friday night. That Friday night game was at home. Iowa's got to go out to LA. I really like USC here. I'm probably going to lay USC minus 6.5 here. I might play something like a USC double result. You guys know I like these double results for the 6.5, 7-point favorite range because they're, a decent price, minus 110, minus 115, minus 120. Because I think USC comes out early and puts their foot on the gas. This is a slow start Iowa spot in my mind. So yeah, I know you're an Iowa guy. We're a win away from the USC win total over, which I tailed you on as well. And I think that goes over here. I know it's a look ahead spot for USC with Oregon. But I'm interested in USC this week. I'm interested in USC against Oregon.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think it's just tough. And if anybody could get an Iowa team or anybody could get a team up for a game still after what they just went through, it's Kirk. But I agree. It's a tough spot. Now you have to, you had that.
The offense, if USC starts putting up some points early and you got to play catch up, that's going to be tough.
That's the thing. USC could score in 2 seconds. And the defense for Iowa made some mistakes, and they just could not stop the run. And Jules, who's running the ball better than almost anybody right now in the Big Ten? USC on their like fourth running back. It's wild. King is running like a king. I agree with your analysis. I kind of lean USC here.
All right, Penn State loses on the catch of the year. Now you got to go to Michigan State. Michigan State's only 7-point home dog here. It's ticked to 6.5 some spots. This is an interesting one. I trusted this disgusting Michigan State team as a big underdog to Michigan, and that was a dirty, filthy backdoor with that awful backup quarterback for Michigan State getting that late touchdown. This is all about what Penn State looks like, because Penn State just put together a tremendous game at home against Indiana and probably should have won, and they didn't. Are they going to be able to go to the road against Sparty and put it together? If they can, they're going to win this game by more than 7 if they play their best football, for sure. If they drag their feet and complain about the loss and treat the season as if it's over, which it is, then this is a great spot for Michigan State to get up. My initial thought was I wanted Michigan State plus 7 here, but I think there might be better games on the board that I trust more.
I think you said it perfect. I kind of wanted Sparty plus 7 as well. And I think there's going to be a lot of Penn State's going to be deflated. And you don't think they could be any more deflated. They still haven't won a Big Ten game all year long. But Jules, I think this is the game where you finally see them kind of mail it in here and just really go through the motions. Like they got up for that game last week, deserved to win it, played really hard. It's just tough to get up for this one. Now you have to go to Michigan State. Like the season's so over. It's just tough. It would be Sparty or nothing for me.
All right, next one on our list is Texas, Georgia. I'm going to save the best for last because we only have 2 other games before that. So Missouri and Mississippi State. Missouri, we kind of thought was going to be like a sharp home dog against Georgia, but it gets bet up from 7.5 to 8.5 to 9.5, and Georgia smokes them. Finally puts together like that big performance. Now Mississippi State, who I do like, has to go on the road to Missouri. Missouri laying like a touchdown here. I'm kind of interested in Mizzou. I think that Mississippi State did not look good last week, and they're a much better team to trust at home. Now you're going on the road. Missouri's still viable to have a really good season, and they're not going to make the playoff, but flirt with the playoff if they were to win out and get a really good bowl game. I lean Missouri here at home, but it's not one of the top games that I'm looking at.
Yeah, probably not a game that's going to make my card. This is a 7:45 game on Saturday night. Usually games like this, Missouri at home, Drink has these guys up, but who knows? I thought that Missouri was going to be up for last week's game versus A&M. A&M proved me wrong every single week. Props to the Bop on them. He's been all over A&M. Luckily, we do this show, and the 3 of us respect each other more than anybody out there, and we're able to talk each other off games. This was one of them. The Big Bop talks me off of Missouri because I was close there. I got nothing really, Jules, in this one. Mississippi State kind of gets whacked around by Georgia when you thought that maybe they could compete at the top of the SEC. And just when you think that, the dogs come in and smack them around.
All right, Mountain West. To all of your Captain Cavemans and your fans of the dog shit games of the world, this is the closest we're getting. We're going to the Mountain West for the nightcap. Boise at San Diego State. I am a Boise guy, as a lot of you guys know. I bet Boise to win the Mountain West a lot of recent years. I bet Boise in a lot of games. Boise's losing some games.
Oh, yeah.
I need them to get into that conference title game.
Same.
I don't feel good about them at San Diego State on Saturday night. They are without the quarterback for the future. We don't know when that is, but for now, he's out. The good news is Boise's had a bye to get the backup ready.
Yep.
And that is good to have a lot of time to get your quarterback ready.
Yep.
San Diego State went to Hawaii on Saturday night and got absolutely smacked as a 7-point favorite. We talked about this one.
Yep.
And
I left it off. I put it on our college football contest in Westgate.
We had it on our contest card that 3 of us are in. I didn't play it either. Because I just had too much respect for San Diego State. I thought I liked Hawaii, but I didn't do it. Caveman, you're welcome. It was a compliment. So I haven't bet against, put it this way, I haven't bet against Boise. I can't remember the last time. I don't even remember. I either say this is a Boise spot and bet it, or I don't. I kind of want to take San Diego State, like minus 140 money line range, to bounce back at home against a Boise team that doesn't, like, the quarterback's a huge deal for this Boise team with Genty gone. So I don't know. Maybe I'll lay off it and just root for Boise because I need them. They can still get to the conference title game. They can lose this and still get in. But I don't know. Like, San Diego State's pretty good. This is a bounce back spot at home.
I like Boise. I'm going to talk you off the Aztecs.
Okay, good. I want to like Boise.
I made Boise the favorite here. Jules,
Wow.
You had it right when you
How
first
do you
started
why
making
how are
another
you making
team.
Boise the favorite? Let me ask you this with the quarterback. What do you know about the quarterback?
Jules, you had it right when you first started breaking down this game. Boise is just so much more elite in spots like this to get QB number 2 ready. You have the week off. You have the game plan. There's 3-4 running backs in that room that are very capable of carrying the load.
I do like the running game.
Okay. This Boise team can get the job done with the backup, and they will. They're better coached. And this is, everybody thinks that San Diego State's going to bounce back. No, they got exposed, man, to the rainbows. Like, Boise is going to win this game, and then all is right is going to be back in the world again. And you're going to be like, wow, that's the Boise team I thought I was going to see this whole year. You're welcome.
All right, perfect. Boise State, late night on Saturday, just like I was saying. We love it. All right. Texas, Georgia.
Yep.
Preseason, Dogs laying 2.5 at home. Now we're 6.
Yep.
Splits are sharp to Texas.
Yep.
Defense, they need it if you're going to make the college football playoff. Unless you're confident that you can get in with 9 wins and that you can beat A&M, who just doesn't seem to lose. I'm going to let you go first.
I should have worn my turnover chain. Jules, I like the Dogs. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Me too. I wanted to see if I could get you to go with Texas because they're sharp. Georgia, baby.
Jules, I like the Dogs, and Texas has been great to me the last few weeks, right? And I know I was texting you and Dan saying, like, hey, this Texas team, can they still make the playoff at 9-3? I still think they can. They're going to have to be A&M.
I think they can too. It depends on what some other teams do.
Correct.
And it comes down to beating A&M, which is going to be hard. But we're saying if they are 9-3.
Jules, this is a tough ask for them to go into Georgia night game and have it. It's just really, really tough. And we're going to be able to lay less than a touchdown.
Mind you know what happens when Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs play Texas? They went to Austin
last year.
Yeah, they went to Austin last year and doubled them up.
Yeah.
30-15, I believe, was the final score. Then Texas revenge spot, SEC title game, beat them with the backup.
Yep.
Kirby Smart owns Sark.
This is a spot where I think that Texas is going to have a really, really tough time moving the ball, Jules. And I know we've talked about this all year, where Georgia's D is not Georgia's D, but it's going to be really tough for Arch in this environment. This is a lot different, Jules, than a noon game in Austin versus Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Than compared to going to Georgia, to Athens on a Saturday night at 7:30 with all the bright lights around you, having to get it done. It's just a totally different game. And I think we're going to see, like, the real Arch, man. Like, it's just not going to happen this weekend.
I think I've given my opinion on every game first and then turned it over to you. And I specifically went to you first on that one to see if I could tee you up for Texas. and then I was going to come back and hype up Georgia. Nope. We both like Georgia.
I'm curious. We'll have to ask Bob. I bet he's probably around the same as me. I made the game 10. I made Georgia -10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I had some. Generally, I have more preseason tickets in pocket than I did this year, and Georgia -2.5 was one of them that I stared down for a long time, and I didn't do it. But we are where we are. This is Georgia. I totally agree. I think that the primetime aspect of it, the road aspect of it, Georgia's defense
being able to make adjustments. Say the game's close, Jules. Who do you trust to make?
In game, it's Kirby, just like it was in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
And now you're in Athens again. Last year was the neutral in Atlanta. I know that's Georgia, but neutral in Atlanta. It's not home field.
Right.
And in Austin, I really like Georgia in this game. So that's it. 56 minutes. We talked a bunch of games. We're in and out.
Yep. That was perfect.
You can guess who's producing our show tonight, because I didn't say that.
Jules, you want to know what I'm going to do?
Go ahead.
Because we didn't really do it. Let's just make it a double. Because there's 6s available, Jules, and I think it's going to close 6.5, 7. I'm going to go ahead and give Georgia out -6.
Oh yeah, you can make that. Technically, play the team, because Dan's not here. So if both of us are on it, the team.
The team.
There we go.
Georgia -6, a nice play to end the show off. Guess what? Because we still have like 3 minutes here until it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Have you looked at college basketball at all tomorrow?
You know what? I haven't, but you just reminded me. I was going to say.
There's some big games.
On Saturday, I'm going to need you to grind the dogs, because I am taking the wife to BYU UConn on Saturday at the Garden.
Oh, yeah. Saturday's a good one.
I'm going to that game.
I know.
We're bringing Cole. I was lucky enough to get in the Corona suite.
The Corona suite.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of wish I was going to that game, but it'll be on the screen with a lot of things.
I haven't done much.
Louisville is getting bet as a home favorite against Kentucky tomorrow night in college hoops. Do you remember last year when all the Louisville hype came and they played their first big game at home? It was against Tennessee, and Tennessee smoked them by like 20-something points.
Right.
I kind of think Kentucky is going to beat Louisville on the road. That's a big in-state rivalry. It's a true home game for Louisville, and Kentucky's coming in. This game means a lot more to Louisville. There's also a lot more pressure on Louisville. This is just another night for Kentucky. I kind of think Kentucky's just better, more ready. They're working some guys that are hurt back. Again, I'm not too deep into college hoops right now.
Same.
But Kentucky getting 3.5, maybe a little Kentucky money line. There's some college hoops for you to end the show if you happen to be interested. What do you think about BYU UConn? Ken Palm has the game at 5. We're going to do like 30 seconds.
He has UConn -5.
UConn -5.
Yeah, I'm. That's the side I lean. BYU traveling across here. It's a game with Hurley that he treats every single game, dude, like it's the fucking tournament.
I also feel like Dibanza might try and do too much.
Yeah,
homecoming. His whole family's going to be there. All his friends. He might try and do a little too much.
His dad's a cop. Okay, a little inside info for you. Friends with a bunch of my friends who are cops. They have a ton of people going. Think you're on to something. I think he's going to try and do way too much. You got to know Hurley's going to have a great game plan. I think 5's too short.
Yep, I lean UConn there as well. All right, we squeezed some college hoops in with the time that we saved minus the bopper. For CT Bets, for Dan Lifshats, I am your guest co-host, Julian Edlow of DK Network. Drifters, Quincy, Saturday 11 a.m. Come by. We'll buy you some Vivas. We'll talk some shop.
I think I'm going to have my buddy on, who's a beat writer for Baylor. He does Locked On Baylor. He's home for the weekend. I think he might join us for a segment.
All right, there we go. And we got a Baylor beat writer coming on. See you guys at Drifters that can make it. I think we have a podcast later this week coming out Thursday. We still have the Thursday, CT?
We'll
Okay.
be out. He'll have it up and running if he's better on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, you're gonna hear from us plenty this week. All right. For Boston Handicappers Network,
Cash.
we are out. We'll talk to you guys later this week.